Hello again, fellow YouTubers. Solomon Pleasant here for Team O.M.G. Vanguard, and today we're going to talk about another clan, specifically Kagero. So, Kagero, the big bully of card fight, basically. And why do I call Kagero a bully? Well, I'll just kind of go into what they do. Kagero's main goal is not actually retiring units. That is a misconcept that even really good, top-notch Kagero players seem to misjudge. That's not Kagero's goal. Kagero's specific goal is to basically wear down the opponent and their resources by any and all means. Whether that's blowing up rearguards, their biggest thing, and probably the main reason why they often assume Narukami is a ripoff, because Narukami takes that specific goal. Kagero also involves things such as restricting the Vanguard by doing some sort of shenanigans to make it so that the Vanguard isn't as powerful, or, isn't as, defensive for certain attacks, and also gives a lot of their abilities to the Vanguard so that when they attack, they're pretty much going to be forced to guard, because otherwise they're going to get off extra crit, extra power, or, other skills that involve when hitting the Vanguard. So it's not just blowing up rearguards. Kageros actually don't focus on that specifically. What Kageros focus on is just overall field control. They are a very field control deck overall. And again, they also focus on a lot of Vanguard hit things, so oftentimes they aren't attacking rearguards, they're usually just blowing them up with specific skills that we'll get into later. But often want to clear that up because everybody assumes, oh, Narukami just ripped off Kagero because Narukami blows up rearguards. Yes, that's all Narukami really does. Except for that one other thing, but we'll talk about that in a different video entirely. So, just a brief history on it. Kagero has been used since Season 1, started off with Kai, and then Season 2 they died, along with Rolls and Shadows. That's the last time you'll hear something like that. Then Season 3 they came back, and then Kai just kind of reversed them, and then... yeah, and then we have Season 5, which... yeah, Season 4 we had Perditions that Kai used. I guess we aren't going to really talk about Perditions, though. No, we'll talk about Perditions. If I didn't talk about Perditions, somebody would attack me. And in Season 5, we still have Perditions. Something you'll notice really quickly with a lot of these reviews is that Season 5 really doesn't change much from Seasons 3 and 4. They really don't add anything new. The only thing new that they've really added is Gear Chronicle, and they haven't really added anything else. I mean, they revamped Oracle, but that's in a different video. So, talking about decks, I'm going to start with just Season 1 builds, and obviously we're going to talk about Overlord. We're going to be talking about Overlord a lot in this video because this is his clan. This is the Overlord clan. I know I made jokes about it, but no joke. He makes up this entire clan. Most of the other cards that you hear about in this, you're not going to know about them because all you see is Overlord. There is no... look at this. How many Overlords? This is the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different Overlords. And that's just normal Overlord. There's also Perdition Overlord. It's just ridiculous. So... we're going to talk about Dragonic Overlord. I just want to mention 2 other units that were really heavy in Season 1. For a good Season 1 deck. We'll talk about a couple other units from Season 1 that may or may not have been as good, but we're going to talk about these first. Considering Kagero's main concept was blowing up, they wanted to blow up faster, so we ended up getting... let's see. Okay, whatever. This is one of the 2 big cards that I'm going to talk about when it comes to Season 1 decks. Season 1 Kagero decks often had a superior ride chain, and this is one of them. Embodiment of Victory, Alif. Now, he's actually not the best unit to have a deck focused around. Counterblast 4, get plus 3,000 power and a crit. It's pretty costly. Just the fact that you can superior ride him with a 2, a 1, and a 0, that's his superior ride thing. And actually, when you put all 3 of them into... and it's actually the grade 2 skill that allows you to superior ride this guy, but he actually does have the skill of turn all cards in the damage zone faced up when you Soul Blast the grade 2, the grade 1, and the grade 0 from your soul. You can only do it once, but in certain decks where you can soul charge, like, I know Kagero has a good amount of soul charge ability mechanics, like, Alif is a somewhat viable strategy, I guess, if you want to be really pro and not use the meta. Like, Alif was actually decent in his time, but I'm gonna look more at the one that was far more decent, and I don't know where I am. Am I on the 3s? No, I'm not even at the 3s. And see, as you're looking here, you're gonna see that there are just a ton of Kagero units. Like, it's ridiculous how many units there are. And the other grade 3 that I want to talk about from Season 1 before I really get into Season 2, before I really just get into Overlord decks in general, is this unit right here, Blazing Flare Dragon. Now, in my opinion, this still isn't that awful of a card, per se. You can, again, superior ride him by using the grade 1, by using a grade 2, a grade 1, and a grade 0. If you want to look up the specific ones, you'll have to go on the site for that. But it has some nice skills, like during the main phase, when your opponent's rear guards put in the drop zone, get +3. And Soul Blast 5, choose one. Oh, yeah, Soul Blast 5. Yeah, there's that. Okay, so he is definitely not as good as he used to be. But still, the whole superior ride strategy was always a very valid strategy, in my opinion, for Season 1 Kagero. Granted, it completely sucks now, but it was good during its time. And in a brief second, we're going to just get into the entire heart of Kagero, which should be obvious to anyone who plays this game ever. We all know. We all know what the main thing is. Dragonic Overlord has got to be. He is Bushiroad's Jesus. Like, no argument. There is no argument. This is Bushiroad worships Dragonic Overlord like a god. They do. If you've seen the I'm just gonna, you know what, instead of just, yeah. Look at all these forms, look at this too. Really? This is the first I'm seeing this grade 4. Supreme Heavenly okay, I did not come prepared for this. Alright, I'm just gonna need to look at this giant ego. I thought the great was bad, wow. Okay, Bushiroad. Okay, yeah, I was gonna try to make the argument, but no, this right here kind of justifies my argument. This right here, yeah, there is my argument. Just gonna zoom in on that. Just gonna... I'm just gonna let everybody read that, because, you know, words can't just... I'm even going to give confirmation of this to my friends and just inform them that Bushiroad believes that Dragonic Overlord is their god, is their messiah, is their Jesus. Insert divine godly figure here. Bushiroad worships Dragonic Overlord as a god. I'm just gonna take a picture of that because, yeah, wow, just wow. Bushiroad, just wow. Like, yeah, I just had to cut out of that for a second, but yeah, is there really any argument that it is their god? Like, I have not seen a bigger ego stroke ever. Like, and I've played some card games where there have been some pretty ridiculous long names, and there have just been some names where I'm like, you know, that's going a bit too far. But no, that is no, nope. It's going way too far, Bushiroad. Not even gonna read the skill, like, because it's just gonna be something probably ridiculously broke, so I'm not even gonna. Alright, let's get back into that. Alright, what do Overlords really do? Whatever the hell they want. Honestly, because that's what Dragonic Overlord does. He just wins. That's really his job. Whether it's blowing up, really his main job is blowing up rear guards. The end kind of says, hey, I keep standing back up. That's another thing Overlord likes to do. There's the X, there's the rebirth. Like, there's a Break Ride version. We couldn't even rename it. No, it has to be Dragonic Overlord and just has a Break Ride because nobody wants to use old Overlord. Dragonic, Perdition, Emperor, Dragon, Dragonic Overlord, the Greats. Yeah. Overlord's just... Dragonic Overlord just kind of does whatever he wants and just runs his deck because he is God. Because, honestly, that's what Bushiroad wants you to believe, and if you think otherwise, Bushiroad will shun you and not care about anything you have to say. My apologies, I should have known that Grade 4 had existed going in. But, you know, I had an assumption that maybe Bushiroad actually would try for once, but that's silly, thinking Bushiroad would try. Alright. Let's just talk about, because there are a bunch of other archetypes, so let's just go to some actual decks that actually do try to be decks without being ridiculously overpowered or ridiculously overhyped or, you know, ridiculous in any possible way. Dauntless is an archetype. I'm just going to talk about the Dauntless units really quick. Dauntless, the Break Ride, is simply there as a support card for whatever deck you're running. That is what he basically gives you the ability to stand up, and therefore he's just support. And the reverse, you can run the reverse by itself, and my TV's doing something, but you can run the reverse by himself. I probably should actually zoom that out. Okay, let's, there we go. That's fair. You can run Dauntless Reverse with the Dauntless Break Ride, you can run the Dauntless Break Ride with pretty much anything. The Dauntless Break Ride is a very key essential. The reverse unit isn't that bad. I've talked about it on its own little thing, so I'll just kind of move on to Sealed Dragons before I talk about some other archetypes that I really am going to hate talking about. Because besides Sealed Dragons and maybe Dauntless, I hate a lot of things in Kagero, and not because they're ridiculously... okay, yes, they are ridiculously overpowered, but why do I hate Kagero less than Gold Paladin? Just because Kagero actually takes some effort with some of their decks, Sealed Dragons being the big exception there. I really do respect a lot of Sealed Dragons, and just the Sealed Dragon deck in general, just because it takes a unit that at first nobody thought was going to get anything, and then turned it into a deck. Oh, okay, just, alright. So, what do Sealed Dragons do? Sealed Dragon's big goal is basically blowing up your front row and then replacing it with grade 2s that are ultimately going to be useless to you. And then just gaining power off that. They don't really blow up anything. They don't really, and it's freaking out. All right. It has its full deck. It's got its own Break Ride too. Like there's Blockade's Cross Ride, the Blockade Inferno Cross Ride. Basically, Sealed Dragons overall are just there to kind of mess with the front row and nothing more. And I think my thing just freezed. I could be... yeah, it probably did. Oh well. So, main thing with Sealed Dragons, hit the front row as hard as you can, and just, when your opponent has intercepts, good for them. They aren't going to do anything. Which isn't the best idea for a deck, given that not everybody really uses intercepts anymore, or they don't use them as much. It's still a nice deck to run because it does still hit consistent power levels. It's a very consistent deck, and I will say that much. There are really two only other ones. Oh god. Oh, I gotta talk about these, don't I? I really don't want to talk about these. God. Like, I give Gold Paladins a lot of crap, but at the very least, they have a concept that doesn't involve just winning. Like, at least they don't have this. God, I hate this card. I really don't like Novels. Novel Vage, like, thank God Stride is a thing now. Oh, wait, you can Stride... wait, can you Stride Novel Vage? I'm not sure. But thank God Stride is a thing, because now at least it's more common to see a grade 4 with triple drive check and, you know, having less broken abilities, because this is still a ridiculous ability. Like, it's Silent Tom, except with 13,000 attack, a triple drive check, and it basically says your triggers mean nothing to me. So, God, and the grade 2 and the grade 1 just get out the grade 4. Like, God, do I really not like Novelage. No. If you run that, I'm not even going to really talk, I'm just acknowledging it's a thing. I'm not going to talk about how you run that deck, because if you're thinking of running that deck, don't bother playing Vanguard. You clearly aren't playing for fun of it. You're clearly playing just to be a jerk. And I will hate you for the rest of your life if you play Novelage. In all honesty, I will, like, hunt you down Liam Neeson style, find you, and tear up every copy of Novelage. I hate it that much. Like, I don't even care how expensive it is. I'll tear it up. I will. Talk about Perditions. I just received one of my friends confirming that Dragonic Overlord's new grade 4 is ridiculous. Alright, Perditions, what do they do? Be Dragonic Overlord, except blow up more stuff. Basically, be Eradicators, so we kinda copied you, and then you kinda copied us back. Yeah, Perditions really pretty much just blow up columns. Like, whole columns. They don't blow up one by one. They blow up, like, entire columns. So, they're Eradicators, except more pro. And they're incredibly dangerous. Like, I won't badmouth Perditions that much, because while I've gone up against them a bunch of times and lost a bunch of times, at the very least, they do still kind of have a fighting concept, and they do kind of have ways of using up their power just so that they can blow up these columns. And they aren't as good now because resist is a thing. And there are just a bunch of units now that can be prevented from being destroyed by these effects, so... Like, a couple months ago, I probably would have still just been like, I just really don't like them. They're just a really, really top-tier archetype. Like, they aren't necessarily broken, they're just really top-tier. And I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of top-tier stuff, because the one thing I've noticed with a lot of top-tier stuff is that they're really easy to build. And they aren't that challenging to run. And Perdition is no exception to that. They were really easy to build, and pretty much everyone built them kind of the same, like, almost identical to the same way. So, that's the main reason why I hate a lot of meta decks, because meta decks are just all built the same. There's a reason I like stuff like Grand Blue, and it's because there are multiple ways to build it. A lot of stuff in Kagero, you really just build it one way. And there are no other ways, because I guess every other way kind of sucks, in comparison to the best way. So again, don't really hate Perditions, but at the same time I don't really like them. They're just Overlord into a full deck, except blow up more columns. So now I'm going to kind of get into the deck listing style. Kagero, run, crit, 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 crit. If you're running stand, it's a very unique deck. Like, Kagero does have some unique deck builds where you would run more draw or stand, but for the most part you run crit and pretty much every Kagero deck. As for P-Guards, Kagero's going to be a top tier where you're going to run 3 to 4 just because you're a Kagero player and you're obviously playing to win, because, let's be honest, that's what Kagero does. They've been a clan since Season 1 where they don't care about the fight, they just want the win. They've never really considered the heat of the battle, they just go for the win. So, talking about specific units that I haven't already talked about, let's just talk about the grade 0 that obviously just needs to be laughed at. Because, you know, Dragonic Overlord likes to take over everything, so I gotta laugh at something. And that something, specifically, is Lizard Soldier Conroe. First got demoted to just a rare artwork from a double rare artwork, and then just got banned in America. Sucks to be you, Conroe! Really sucks to be you. Conroe was the first grade 1 searcher. And honestly, I think there's only one other clan that has them. Spike Brothers, at least we didn't get ours banned. Yeah, Spike Brothers pretty much have Mecha Trainer, which is Spike Brothers Conroe, except not banned. And, yeah, not banned, and has a better rare artwork, so kinda sucks to be you, Conroe. And, yeah, he was good in his time, he was ridiculous in his time, and now he's dead, so sucks to be you. Why didn't I make fun of Barkgull? Because at least Barkgull wasn't in a jerk clan like Kagero. Which, again, I'm going to be bad-mouthing Kagero a lot, but... yeah, Kagero is a very jerk clan. I'm not going to lie, it is. Like, when you see people playing it, they are people who want to win. They don't care about the fight. And I know some people who play Kagero. They want the win. That is why they play Kagero, because Kagero is always, like Shadow Paladin, a very top tier, but unlike Shadow Paladin, at least you know Shadow Paladin doesn't resurrect Blaster Dark 50 freaking times. We have 2 different Blaster Darks in the Shadow Paladin clan. And about 7 Overlords at least. Let's move on to grade 1s, which... if my internet is willing. One specific grade 1 that I think has kind of faded from obscurity, but I still think is a very valid card, is this one coming up right here. T's totally gonna get it later. I just need to punch him now because he uses Kagero. I just had the urge to throw T under the bus again. Anyway, Demonic Dragon Mage Kimnara. This has always been a card that I've thought has always been a very interesting one and a very good one, but has faded from obscurity because it's not Perdition. It's a Counter Blast 1 put into the soul, and if you have a Kagero Vanguard, blow up a grade 1 or less rear guard. No, just blow up a grade 1 rear guard. Now, again, Kimnara has kind of faded from obscurity just because nobody really uses him anymore, because he's not Perdition. But I feel like if they made a Perdition version of this, like, people would use it just because blowing up a grade 1. It's not that hard to find a grade 1 in Vanguard, because someone's playing a grade 1 at some point, and blowing it up is very nice, because there are a lot of cards that get effects from blowing stuff up. It was effective in Season 1 decks, it's effective in Season 3 decks, it's effective overall, I think. And while not used as much anymore, I still think it's pretty valid. Alright, so moving on to 2s, and I would talk about the ones that I mentioned with the Superior Ride builds of Season 1, but I kind of already talked about those, and pretty much most of the other cards that people know are pretty much like either beat 6 or something of that, or pretty much 12Ks or stuff like that. There is one card that I am gonna mention if I can find it. I think it's... wait. It's probably up here. No. Yeah, they've got a lot of cards if you haven't noticed. Kagero just has a bunch. I will say I'm very fortunate that after this, like, the rest of the Dragon Empire I actually like. So there is that. A grade 2 that's pretty valid in the given circumstances, Dragonic Burnout. Why is this so good? Soul Blast 1, when it's placed on rearguard, if I have a Kagero Vanguard, I search for an Overlord in the drop zone, put it at the bottom of the deck, and if I put a card to the bottom of the deck this way, I may pay the cost. If I do, I may choose one of my opponent's rearguards and blow it up. So, it's a... okay, I thought that effect was different at first. So, this is another very nice sniping unit, which Kagero has very good sniping units, because there's so many Dragonic Overlords, at some point you'll probably P-guard and drop one of them, or spam guard and drop one of them, that you can just kind of, put it back in and then reuse it. So, it's a very nice recycling of the Dragonic Overlord units, which are Jesus. So, it's a very nice reborning of each. And this was really good in the Rebirth deck especially. And the more and more I think about it, I really think there should be a singular video just dedicated to just the Overlord decks. I'll have to think about that, because I just hate Overlord. Anyway, finally I'm just gonna talk about 2 size 3s, or grade 3s, what am I saying? Still no buddy fight mindset. 2 grade 3s that were faded from obscurity from the beginning, and I'm just gonna talk about them super quick. So where's the first one? Oh, let's see. There he is, right below Executioner. You were trying to hide because you were afraid Overlord was going to kill you again, because Overlord doesn't want any other decks except Overlord. Also, I've said this before, but like this video and place a comment saying you would like to sign the petition of turning the Kagero clan into the clan name Dragonic Overlord. Sign that, please Please, I want people to sign that petition so Bushiroad can at least accept the fact that they made just a monstrosity. Alright, Dragonic Lawkeeper. This was another very interesting card. What this Limit Break did was Counterblast 1, bind all of your opponent's rear guards, so bind the field. And at the beginning of the end of the phase of that turn, your opponent chooses up to 4 face-up cards from the bind zone, and call them to separate rear guards. Thanks for vanishing. It's not like I wanted to read that. And now we went to the comments. That's not where we want to go. And then, yeah, so bind up to 5 units, put up to 4 in your hand, and then get rid of 1. Now, and the other skill is if the number of rear guards your opponent has is 2 or less, this power, it becomes a 13k swinger. And it's going to keep doing that on me. Okay. So, T oftentimes will say that, oh, Dragonic Lawkeeper totally did the bind the field thing first. Yeah, but, you know, Lawkeeper can only get rid of 1 rear guard. At least Nubatama has the ability to get rid of 2, at the very least. And also, we don't need to count... And also... Actually, the rest of that is pretty close to the same. But again, we apply way more pressure than Lawkeeper ever did. And also, we're at least 11k. But we'll talk about Nubatama in a different video. Lawkeeper was an interesting deck. It's a real shame that nobody uses it anymore because Overlord. But Lawkeeper. It was always an interesting card, so... And it looks like my internet crashed again. Be back in a minute. Alright, one last grade 3 I want to talk about. This one has been the butt of so many jokes, and that just kind of faded from obscurity because people stopped caring. Demonic Dragon Berserker Yaksha. Oh god, Yaksha. This was actually the card that everyone used to call Yaksha, you're so useless, because for a while he was incredibly useless. And my phone's going off for no particular reason. That's fantastic. Why was he so useless? Well, he had the auto hand ability of during your main phase, when your opponent's rear guard was put into the drop zone, if you had a grade 2, you could superior ride this, basically. And that sounded okay, but it's a 9k. And at the time, most costs to blowing up a unit would require either a grade 3 doing it, or Berserk Dragon. So if you didn't have Berserk Dragon, it was kind of pointless. And it's a 9k. So you're pretty much just getting a twin drive, and that's about it, because there were a lot of 10k Vanguards. So, yeah, Yaksha was kind of useless for a while. But then people started realizing, hey, I can combo this with stuff. And they did. They even comboed it with Novel Vage, because Berserk into Yaksha, next turn Novel Vage, hey, guess what? I'm at a grade 4, you had a grade 2. Guess who's dying? You. We're not going to talk about Novel. But, and then after that, like, people just stopped caring about Yaksha, so it used to be a really funny joke, turned into a and then he just kind of faded from obscurity. Nobody cares about Yaksha. Nobody ever did. Oh, poor Yaksha. Like, watch this thing get oh wait, cross rights are dead, I can't even make that joke. That's a shame. Let's just recap Kagero. So, to recap, Kagero is a very heavy-hitting clan. It hits really hard. It's very top tier. It's a very top tier clan. Like, there's no arguments. The only reason you would play low tier Kagero is if you weren't trying. Like, if you did not want to win, you would be playing low tier Kagero. Otherwise, you play Kagero and you just go for the win, because that's what Kageros are supposed to do. That is their job, to win. And I really do have issues with this clan. Okay, let's just go back up. That would be nice. Be nice if we wouldn't freeze. There you go. I've always had a lot of moral issues with this clan. I really have. Just because of how brutal it is to the opponent. Like, it doesn't even really like to give the opponent a fighting chance. At least other decks let the opponent play. Kagero doesn't like letting you play. Kagero just likes messing up your deck style and making sure that you don't get to do what your deck wants to do. And except for like cases like Grand Blue or Spike Brothers, where it's like, a field? What's that? Because Kageros do get a lot of skills from blowing stuff up, so it's really nice to actually have an empty field when playing against Kagero. It also just kind of conserve your hand, so there's that. Except for Nobel doesn't care. Let's not talk about Nobel. But overall, like, again, the Kagero clan is just a clan I'm really not a fan of. Not because I think it's broke, because there are decks that don't focus on the Kagero mindset and can still be good, again, Seal Dragons being the big one. But they're overall very disrespectful to the game, in my opinion. And some people may have different thoughts on that, but they really kind of are. Because really, Kagero just focuses on, hey, let's win at every cost. Let's get the most broken support we possibly can. Let's get the most giant compensation for card names in Dragonic Overlord. Again, please like and comment if you would like to sign the petition to change the name to Dragonic Overlord Clan. I and everyone at Team O.M.G. Vanguard would very much appreciate this condolence. So, this has been Solomon Pleasant doing my review on Kagero, doing my review on the Dragonic Overlord Clan. And this is Solomon Pleasant from Team O.M.G. Vanguard, signing off.